What's the lymphatic system, and why is it so important in the brain?
Right. And so there's a Danish researcher by the name of Maken Nettergaard who I think is just a brilliant mind. And what she found is that these structures in the brain, previously thought to be just connective tissue, these glial cells, turn out to have a very unique and important role for the brain. And ultimately, what's been found is that it's sort of a sanitation clearance system where every night when we go to sleep, and specifically stage 3, stage 4 sleep, the glial cells tend to diminish in size and open up channels where cerebral spinal fluid can come through the channels and clear out the metabolic waste of oxidative stress. And
It's our brain's detoxification system.
that's exactly right. And what's interesting is there were separate studies recently out of Washington University where they found if you just sleep deprive somebody even one night, and then you do a lumbar puncture to measure the amount of some of these byproducts in the cerebral spinal fluid, there's a dramatic increase in the beta amyloid and tau you can find in the CSF after just one night of sleep
So
deprivation.
one night of not having good quality sleep, and of course, a lot of people like young parents, especially young mothers, so many other individuals that are in these situations, so sleep deprived, but that metabolic waste kind of stays in the brain.
That's right. And so then you start thinking about people who are chronically sleep deprived. How is this impacting them and causing more phosphorylation of these beta amyloid and tau proteins and resulting in tauopathy? And you realize the fundamental importance of not just the duration of sleep, but the quality of sleep is critical to allow this lymphatic system to engage and to clear your system. So it turns out now so much of the research on Alzheimer's and cognitive decline has been focusing on, are we producing too much of these proteins? And it turns out it may be more the clearance mechanism that we need to focus on, is poor clearance of these proteins. And so what we start thinking towards is, as a preventative measure or even prodromal, if we can get to people and enable them to get more stage 3, stage 4 sleep. And to be clear, it doesn't have to be our technology. It can be a re-emphasis on very good sleep hygiene. And one of the things we always emphasize is the importance of honoring our biology and the circadian rhythm that we're all, thousands of years of our ancestors, our circadian rhythm was established by getting blue light in the morning. So this very specific frequency, 400 to 500 nanometers of blue light, when it hits your retina, suprachiasmatic nucleus, and then ultimately it sends a message to your pineal gland to suppress melatonin until 12 to 14 hours later.
Right. So it's like waking up first thing in the morning and get like some sun exposure.
That's
Or
right.
there are some like light therapy units that you can purchase that sort of recreate that if somebody's in a place that is not very sunny or very dark early in the morning.
That's correct. But it is hard to replicate Mother Nature. And so even these indoor blue lights that you use, just to give you an idea, on a sunny day outside, you may be getting 70,000 lumen of blue light.
Right.
Indoors with a blue spectrum light, you may be getting 7,000 lumen, and that degrades exponentially over distance. And so you're not getting as much of it. It's better than nothing, don't get me wrong.
So the best way,
But-
just turn it practical. I know we're talking big picture here. The best way is for people to wake up and go outside and kind of look at the sunrise.
That's exactly right. Whether it's taking the dog for a walk in the park or having a bowl of cereal outside, just getting natural filtered sunlight. And the other part that's interesting, we've learned that glass tends to filter out the intensity of light. So whether you're behind the glass in your car or whether you're in an office, even if you're getting sunlight that's being filtered through glass, you're not getting the blue light spectrum that you need. And so I was thinking, even for myself, when this was first being shared with me, I go from my bedroom down to my car. I'm immediately behind glass. I'm driving to my office and maybe walking 20 feet into the office. I'm getting almost no blue light. And, ambience and out of these blockbuster drugs, it's no wonder, we're living in a society where working at computers is ubiquitous, and there is a certain amount of blue light deprivation that I think a lot of our population is struggling with. And the converse is true too. If we're getting too much blue light at night, that's sending the wrong biological cue to our system.
Which is coming from our devices.
That's
or
right.
super bright lights in the house or in the bathroom that are overstimulating us and getting the not allowing us to create that melatonin production, which helps us sleep well.
That's precisely right. And I think we're getting smarter. A lot of these devices now have a blue light filter that turns on at a certain time of night. But you're still getting that emotional stimulation. And so I think years from now, we'll look back at this and think, remember that time when we were on our phones and our tablets and that up to 9 and 10 at night. And really, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we have to put down the screen time. At least I would suggest 4 to 5 hours before we're going to sleep, so that our body can work its natural circadian rhythm and get those cues so that we can get more restful sleep. And really, I think as long as that's a point of emphasis where we're being vigilant to protecting our sleep and taking care of ourselves, ultimately from a wellness perspective, I think that should be the goal. And it's not easy. I'm kind of the worst people at listening to my own advice because I'm on my phone more than I should be. But yeah, if there's one message I think for the audience is number one, getting a good amount of blue light in the morning, roughly 30 minutes to an hour, and then trying to reduce blue light exposure at night, turning off our phones and our tablets, and at the first sign of nighttime somnolence, usually sometime between 9 and 10 o'clock, if you're yawning and you're feeling sleepy, that is very likely when you're having the melatonin spike and you need to go to bed. And if you do that, you may get into stage 3, stage 4 sleep very quickly.
And so zooming out and kind of going big picture, talking about whether somebody's looking for optimization or healing from trauma or healing from a concussion or healing from PTSD or in the process of healing from all those things, sleep is so critical because it's part of the mechanism that allows the brain to heal and repair itself. And in many of those conditions that people are dealing with, they're not getting good quality the different stages that you talked about, that good quality deep stage sleep. So it's harder to heal. And then definitely for anybody interested in optimization, sleep is key. So the connection that you're making that I'm hearing is definitely like a technology of yours, the technology that the company has put out there is one of the tools to do it. But even if people are just listening at home, prioritizing sleep is so important to the body's process of healing.
That's correct. And if you were to, I mean, even not to digress into a huge academic debate, but if you were to look at some of these pillars of functional medicine and wellness, if we're talking about diet and exercise and sleep, I would make the argument that sleep is our most important pillar, is foundational, because you look at, if you listed a top 5 or top 10 issues that are leading to morbidity and mortality in our populations, whether it's cardiovascular disease, cerebral vascular disease, insulin resistance, sleep is foundational to all of those. And it's also free, right? And so if you can reduce your rate of cognitive decline, if you can improve your cardiovascular health, your cerebral vascular health, if you can, even the number of car accidents that people experience, if we're getting better sleep, all those things are downrange benefits of it. That would be, I think, of critical importance. And I think your audience probably, hopefully knows that. I know it's something that's being hammered.
We all need a reminder.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say that really needs to be a point of emphasis every day that we're working. And yeah, that would be my take-home message.